how did your perception of AI tools like ChatGPT evolve as you started using them, particularly in an academic setting?
Okay, so initially I thought that ChatGPT would be very efficient, reliable, would be trustworthy. But then the more I used it, the more I realized that it has, it's end of the day, NLP algorithm, right? So it predicts the next word. So it actually has no idea what it's talking. It lacks the context. So it it just keeps predicting the next most likely to be there in the sentence word. So the sentence will make sense, but then the concept that it's trying to say, we cannot fact proof it. So the more I used it for academic settings, the more I realized it was useless. I, for a while, only used ChatGPT for language and other stuff.
That being said, what are the key advantages you observed while using generative AI for assignments?
Okay, so for assignments, ChatGPT was very helpful in kind of reviewing whatever I did. So let's say I had to write an essay. I would write the essay and I would either rephrase it or I would ask ChatGPT to review it. So it would, in a sense, correct all my grammatical errors and mostly linguistic stuff. And sometimes it would suggest changes in the content or topic, but I would most of the time initially not rely on it, but after better tools like Perplexity came, I started relying on other tools. And now that OpenAI is 1.0 came out, the strawberry thing, the think before you speak thing, I still haven't tried it out because I still haven't given a preview, but I'm pretty sure that will be very reliable.
That's great. So you would use generative AI and LLMs to get your small tasks done.
Yeah, I would use it for all of my small tasks.
All right.
Any big thing, nope, not for ChatGPT.
All right. So do you believe generative AI is here to challenge the current traditional education methods?
I've seen a lot of people learn using ChatGPT. They would ask ChatGPT to explain, simplify concepts that they're struggling to understand. In my experience, ChatGPT is very good at expanding stuff, like breaking down stuff, but it's very bad at compressing stuff. So, yeah,
Alright.
it's. I have a good understanding of where it would fail. Have a good understanding of where it would not fail.
So you know where to use it, where not to
Yeah.
use it.
Exactly.
Which tool to use
And
it for what purpose. You know that very well.
yeah.
Perfect.
Coming back to whether it would challenge traditional education methods, I think even right now, traditional education methods are very useless.
Alright.
So it's bound to get
Happen.
affected by something.
Alright.
Maybe not.
So having
ChatGPT, but
tools like LLMs and generative AI is inevitable.
I'm not suggesting that it would be through LLM stuff, but just correct, like education system could change to a future where people just learn from YouTube, even after paying hefty college fees, which is what is happening anyways.
Cool. Should there be any ethical guidelines should be put in place when it comes to usage of AI in assignments?
So AI and ethics is a very huge topic. There have been a lot of controversies going. Even so, if you remember when Google I/O showed their computational photography stuff.
The photographers are getting.
Yeah. The photo like computational photography is a form of generative AI, right?
Okay.
So it would take the raw image, process it, and generate a totally new image. So it showed that the training bias was more towards white people, and black people were not represented well. So there was a lot of outrage back then. And while Google has fixed it, so yeah, Google faced it. I'm pretty sure every single company is going to face it. And I think even ChatGPT, there were a lot of political biases. I don't know if you could consider that as ethical considerations, but ChatGPT, any AI tool is very based on the training data it was on.
Alright.
So there will be ethical concerns depending on the data set. So yeah.
So
But since more of this has been coming out, I'm pretty sure that future versions, every AI team will have an ethics team making sure that their data compliance.
alright.
Yeah. Oh, and even recently they found out that people were using YouTube videos for dataset without asking the YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
So that stuff like that is going to pop out more and more often.
So let's say faculties come up with presentations and PPTs and modules notes, and so should the universities and or the company that undertaking developing LLMs for the universities or education setting,
they should not
they should
catch them.
So
or
do you
not-
believe they should take the consent of the creator? I mean, in this case, the professors.
Correct, yeah. So that is the root cause of all ethical consideration. Ethical considerations happen because whoever owned the data was not asked if they could use the data. So that is where the root of all thing has come. But yeah.
Cool. How do you think AI impacts your ability to retain knowledge and skills after completing assignments?
So
For you.
Yeah. The quickest way to solve any assignment would be to rely on any of the LLMs. But that being said, I don't think, if you know how to use AI/LLMs to your advantage to make your work easier rather than making it do all your work, then that's good. But otherwise, because it's very easy for you to just use whatever ChatGPT gives, and if you do that, like forget about academic integrity, you will still get screwed because end of the day, ChatGPT again is a word prediction algorithm, right? So there's no guarantee that whatever it is.
As you know, Monash doesn't encourage the use of generative AI in most of assignments. What's your opinion on it?
No, I don't agree with that statement. I feel like with comparison to other universities out there, Monash is very open towards use of generative AI in assessments. So Monash is definitely at the forefront in embracing AI for assignments. But again, think about it from Monash's perspective, right? They are an education provider, and they if they let any LLM do most of its jobs, like their value prop goes away, right? Kind of.
Alright.
So yeah.
Would you advocate for usage of generative AI for a person or a student to learn stuff, but not use generative AI for the actual use of just for assignments?
Okay, yeah. Assignments. Okay, assignments, using generative AI for assignments, again, as I said before, the whole purpose of an assignment is for you to understand your understanding, right? So if you can use generative AI while still understanding stuff, go for it. I mean, it should be encouraged. Yeah, we should really just figure out how to test. Okay, assignment should evolve in such a way that it tests your understanding. It doesn't test your ability to complete the assignment. So for example, let's take ITRM. This assignment is a very good example. I do not have ITRM, but I'm assuming ITRM, they teach you how to collect data points for any experiment that you're doing. So this assignment is doing a very good job in helping you go out and getting data from people, talking to people and getting data. So this actually tests something that they teach and something that you're going to be using after you're done with the course. So assignments like this, cool. But assignments where they just ask you to write bullshit, they just ask you to write essays, where you can literally write anything. That's pointless, right? In the real world, nobody's going to write essays for anything.
Cool. How does using AI influence your approach to problem solve in academic tasks?
I've tried to use AI to solve to debug, but I used it in the early days and it was not reliable. And I just, as AI kept getting better, I just started viewing any LLM as kind of like pair programming, right? So you can have a friend who knows how to do everything. You can ask him, and he can help you out, but it should not be like he does the thing for you. So that's how you should be using it.
Should there be consistent policies on the usage of AI across courses? How would such policies impact fairness?
So the use of AI should depend on the course. So for courses like math,
Mm-hmm.
using AI doesn't make a lot of sense. Generative AI doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, you can still, but yeah, every course has different requirements and has some level of extent which you can use generative AI. So it should vary between courses. Having the same policy for every single course is just pointless.
All right. So you're advocating for course-specific policies.
Exactly.
All right. How does AI influence the way you allocate time and effort to get an assignment done?
So AI has definitely made the part where I understand the assignment a lot quicker. Some assignments genuinely take a lot of effort for you to understand, but using ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever, it kind of shortens that time, so you have a quicker, you understand what you have to do and you can just go get stuff done. And whenever you're stuck, you can, so previously whenever you're stuck, you would go to Google and ask your question and you would find an answer. I think you can do the same thing right now with ChatGPT to help you get unstuck. But I don't, even when I use ChatGPT to help me get unstuck, I'm very I cross check whatever it gives me. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So do you see yourself using more AI as it gets better in the future?
I see myself using more AI because there are exciting tools that are coming out, like OpenAI Strawberry model, the 101, the thing that came 3-4 days back. So that's very exciting. And since that came out, there'll be a lot more LLMs which should be using the chain of thought architecture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not attention is all you need anymore. It's chain of thought now. So
Right.
yeah.
So how do you ensure a balance? How do you ensure a balance between AI assistant and your own output?
Me ensuring, that would definitely depend on the assignment. If the assignment is something that I'm personally more interested in, I would put more of my effort. If it is something that I don't really find interesting and I just want to get done, I would rely more on AI tools.
Cool.
But I would never fully rely on AI tools at the state they are in right now, because, as I said, they're a word prediction algorithm and not very reliable.
All right. So what you're saying is to find the right gap between relying on your own skills and knowledge and using LLMs and generative AI for certain tasks.
Yep.
The task that the task with expected outcomes.
Yeah, the task where I can do it easily myself, but it's just lengthy and annoying to do. Those tasks would be tasks which I would delegate to ChatGPT.
All right.
And obviously, I would be reviewing its output before I would use it in the final submission.
All right. how can educational institutions evolve to integrate AI while maintaining the development of core skills in students?
So, one way I see education institutions embracing AI is to make assignments more challenging, more application oriented. So, theory oriented assignments can be easily done by ChatGPT or any other LLM, but if it's more applied based, which would require a lot of human intervention, those kinds of assignments, I feel like if education institutes push more of those kind of assignments, then that would be one way for them to embrace AI while maintaining the competence levels in students.
That's great. So it's inevitable for, according to the current trend, like, so is it inevitable for institutions to embrace AI, or should they be reluctant and vilifying AI?
I believe institutions should be more embracing because times are changing. Adapt or die.
Would you advocate for universities teaching students how to use generative AI?
Yeah, that would actually be helpful. I think, yeah, but I don't know how effective it would be though. Universities could teach students how to use Gen AI, and students could still do whatever they want. So, yeah, why not? They should teach. They should have a course which sort of like form a baseline for how people use generative AI in the university, and yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to have a generative AI developed by the universities based on the resources?
Okay, that's a very
Develop.
interesting question. Universities training generative AI by themselves from scratch
With
I
their
think
data.
with their own data could be interesting, but considering about how little data universities usually have, like usable data, actually they have quite a lot of data. They have a lot of assignment data and stuff, right? So volume wise should be good. I think most universities do have enough compute access to train them. It would be fun to see some university do it. It would be a cool experiment, and based on how that goes, I think we should decide. I think it's too early to state on that. We should try. We should, yeah. There should be some university. Monash should definitely do it. Monash should do it. It would be cool, and we'll all know.
Do you believe generative AI and other forms of AI replacing tutors in terms of clearing your doubts and asking for assistance?
Yeah, that I think if generative AI hits academic institutions first, it'll hit the tutors first. Like the job of teaching assistants would be the job which would be hit first, because LLMs, surprise, are very good with words and they can explain stuff better. Definitely way better than any of the tutors, and not just only in one language. Let's say you're from China and you're very bad with English, and your tutor does not know Chinese, then in that case, LLMs will definitely be your only option.
Got it. So as of now, if you have any doubt, like you got to book an appointment with the faculty and you got to go visit the faculty physically.
Exactly. So all
and
of that is
and you also have language barriers. So in that case, would you think generative AI would help?
yeah, absolutely. Like generative AI it would become your personal tutor, right? I feel that is the current most use. That is the biggest current use case of ChatGPT. Most people use it primarily to first understand concepts and then write texts. I don't really see a lot of people solving problems using ChatGPT. they understand the problem and they write output, but usually it's the humans that do most of the problem solving. And there were some LLMs which could, if you recall Devin and stuff. So Devin was this AI software engineer thing, which we all later found out that it was a huge scam. But yeah, so yeah, ChatGPT is not there. LLMs are not there at the state where they can solve problems, but they can definitely help simplify, definitely become better tutors than humans.
So, what do you think about ChatGPT and other forms of AI, generative AI and LLMs, or what do you call it, helping you with generating graphs, images, flowcharts, mind maps that would like potentially that actually helps you in your learning process?
Correct, yeah. Like you just briefly mentioned, whenever somebody makes a visual version of whatever they're learning, they tend to learn way better, right? And you're concerned about people using stable diffusion based models for generating these kinds of images for assignments. That would definitely be a bummer. And also, I don't think stable diffusion is reliable enough. Like, if you give it a prompt 5 times, you would get 5 different responses, the exact same prompt without changing anything. That's just the nature of how all generative AI goes. They're too random. They're unpredictably random, and nobody really knows what exactly happens under the hood. They just know that you give it some input and you teach it how to get some output based on old output. It finds some pattern, but nobody knows how it finds that pattern. Like, nobody knows, like, after it, nobody, people know how it finds the pattern, but people don't know how it uses that pattern to come to output. It's still pretty much a black box, right? So people are trying to figure that out, and I don't think I don't think most people think that it's a problem worth researching into, because that is not going to help us. Like, us figuring out how it uses patterns to come up with this doesn't really help us. But yeah.
Got it.
So, like you said, using stable diffusion based models will make it a lot more. Firstly, they will not be reliable, but let's say they get reliable in the future. If they get reliable, most of, at least my learning and people I know learning, they exhibit to show better understanding when they make diagram. So if that happens, it's game over for learning.
True. Fair. Got it. So, let's say university comes up with its own AI, where you'll be able to prompt with it and play around and like get your stuff done or learned. In that case, every prompt and every data that the AI generated, do you think your data can be used for reinforcement learning to train a better model for the university, by the university?
Since it is by the university and it is used for assignments by the university, students will not have much say when they want to not let universities use their data, because end of the day, universities do own the assignment and the solution to assignment. So your question about whether students would be fine with universities using their data is kind of like, universities have way too much leverage. So like, they can say, okay, fine, if you don't want to give your data, then don't submit your assignment, and they can do that. So the power lies in the university for collecting students' data, as long as it's assignment data. But yeah, other data like personal data, that will obviously be in hands of the students. But to train and generative AI model, I don't think personal data would be that helpful. Maybe it can help you inform bias. It'd be good metadata for training, but
say you submitted your code to the AI and the code that you submitted is being used for training the model. Let's say your code is being used is being generated to another student, where he used your code. So, what do you think about the situation?
Yeah, that can definitely happen, but the scenario in which that happens would so when the university trains its own AI and starts training it based on student data. Already, Monash has a very strict academic integrity
Policies.
policy, right? So I feel like if Monash trains its own AI for student use case, it'll become a lot tougher for Monash will have to figure out academic integrity policies even better. Like, they have access to, they have full control and like all access to the LLM that they create. They like full low level access, right? So if they still use academic integrity the same way that they're still using it right now, then it would be fine. But if they take if they modify their academic integrity to also include training data and responses that the LLM they have generate, then it's going to become extremely difficult, and it'll practically make it pointless for students to use the university's LLM, right? So students would figure out, okay, fine, if I use university's LLM, I'm going to get caught in academic integrity anyways. It's going to be very difficult to not get caught in that. So I might as well not use it. So
Got it.
So university will have to come up with different academic integrity policies
Got it.
if they come out with their own
Got it.
LLM.
Let's say you've been using AI and generative AI and everything. On a sudden day, and they banned use of AI altogether. Would you consider yourself having a withdrawal syndrome?
Okay. Withdrawal syndrome for this situation is a very strong word, very interesting. I like that. But if university banned the use of generative AI, I don't think it would personally affect me. I mean, it would definitely. I would definitely find difficulty in completing my assignments on time, but I don't think the quality of my assessments would change. So I would probably cope by just taking a bunch of extensions for every single assignment I have.
Got it.
And yeah.
Fair.
Shouldn't affect me. Yeah.
And the last question, do you think generative AI makes you lazy?
Yeah, generative AI can make you lazy. You need to be very mindful when you're using generative AI. I don't think most young people, when I say young people, significantly younger than me, so people who are in their first year or second year of bachelor's right now, so I'm sure they're not mindful when they use ChatGPT or LLMs. So they are going to get a lot more lazy if they start relying too much on ChatGPT. If they start relying, not too much, if they start relying on ChatGPT. But yeah, when one of your previous question was when you asked if universities should educate students on how to use ChatGPT, that would be very necessary for them. Yeah, but because if you use ChatGPT the wrong way, you would become very lazy and you will have withdrawal symptoms. So